Welcome to Circuit Fix. Today we're stepping up the power on my bench. I've been needing a high current power supply for some time to work on some of these LD-MOS amplifier projects, and the RD6030W looked to be the perfect DIY solution. We're talking 60 volts and a massive 30 amps. Today we're going to assemble the full kit, including the S800 case and the RD5000 internal power supply, and let's see if this thing lives up to the hype. And at the end, I've got a little surprise for you. I just opened up the box this stuff came in, so let's see what's inside. We've got some bubble wrap. Not sure what's in here yet. And this will be our power supply unit. Let's go ahead and get our bubble wrap out. Now I've got this power supply unwrapped, and the quality looks okay. It's not anything to the level of like a Meanwhile power supply. It still looks like it's a Chinese power supply. But it says riding on it, and it says 240 volts AC input will yield 68 volts at 1500 watts, and that's 22.1 amps it says, which is not 30 amps. And in the US, we have 120 volts AC mains, and that's 68 volts at 1200 watts, which is 17.7 amps, which is not 30 amps. So I'm not sure why they call this a 30 amp power supply. But continuing on. The next component is the case, and it looks quite well made. It's sheet metal, and it's got every screw and hole there, fan vents. Looks like it'll have good airflow. Everything lines up nicely, so I'm not concerned with this. And the main event here is this RD6030 control panel. This is the brains, and it handles the buck conversion, the user interface, and it's supposed to have built-in Wi-Fi. Let's go ahead and open up the box and see what lurks inside. We've got our nice QR code with our lovely Made in China. And this lovely card has a QR code, and it says that we can scan this and visit their website for instructions. We don't need that. The packaging looks okay. And there's our front panel. And this part is for my friend JFix. You like this, don't you? Oh, the peel. The front panel is attractive and elegant. Let's turn it over and see what we have on the back side. So we've got a nice cooling fan, more power supplies. That's probably for the buck converter here. There's a battery that's missing right here. I assume that came in the packaging. And this is probably our power connection. I just found this in the box. This is a Wi-Fi card, I suspect. And we have some more cable that looks like it could be an antenna. Extra fuse, I'm not sure. And let's find out what's in this last package that was sitting on top. Looks like we've got some zip ties, IEC power connector, and a power switch, some jumper cables for the power, and a bracket, screws, and feet. So let's get to work. First things first, we need to prep this case. We'll install this rocker switch and the IEC AC input socket. And the rocker switch goes here and presses in like so. And the IC cable connector will go here. Screws will fit in right here. The ones with the countersink heads. Now we have this bag of cables. Let's go ahead and maybe start plugging some of these in. I'm not sure what this port is for, but it obviously mounts right here. So we'll go ahead and screw that on. That's in place. Now we can begin plugging in some of these jumper cables. We know that the center pin here is the ground, so the green and yellow cable will go to that. And the line from the AC signal will be on the top here. They're usually labeled L for line. And we can take this and go to our switch. And then there'll be another brown wire coming off the switch, most likely. And then our neutral probably is blue. It goes on the bottom of the power connector. And let's move on. Since they've included these zip ties, I guess we can tidy this up a little bit. And before we go any further, I think it's probably a good idea to put the rubber feet on the bottom now. And yes, they're tapped screw holes in the four corners. So we can go ahead and put our rubber feet down. And these black screws with the pan heads look like they're the ones that go here. Now that we've got our feet screwed on the bottom of the chassis, it's time to turn our attention towards connecting the power supply and the control unit together. The main power connection here on the control unit is, on this model, has screw connectors, so you can connect some sort of spade connector to it. It does come with these and another one that you can solder to and sort of get your leads at an angle there, but I don't like soldering to these because I think it's a little bit dangerous to run at that sort of amperage and voltage with just a solder connection, because that could easily melt if something went wrong, and you don't want that flopping around inside the unit. So I just went ahead and took some of these connectors and bent them and crimped them on to the leads like so, on both of these. That way we can get them on there, screw them on tight, and it's crimped, and it's got an angle so it'll fit. So I'll go ahead and connect those now. On the left side here we have the negative. And the right side is the positive DC input. Now I've got these screwed on nice and tight. They're not touching anything, they're not going anywhere, and they're crimped on nicely. So now we can go ahead and slide the control panel into the front of the unit. Make sure you've got it right side up. And it will just slide in and snap. And that's in place. Now before we do anything else, it's probably wise to go ahead and connect our temperature probe. That's this. This is the white header. You see right about there. It's probably a good time to go ahead and plug this in. All right then. I don't know if you can read this very well, but on the front of the power supply you can see it's got L for line, N for neutral, and that's ground for our AC input. We'll go ahead and connect those now. Remember, our green and yellow wire is ground. The brown wire is line. The blue wire is neutral. And the brown wire is line. It goes to the switch. Now we've got negative voltage here, 1, 2, 3, and then positive voltage here, 1, 2, 3. It's best not to confuse those. Now we can go ahead and connect our positive voltage leads going to the control board. And now for the negative voltage leads going to the control board. Now the power supply is wired up completely. I've screwed this bracket on to help with the airflow going out the back of the case. We should be able to just drop this in and line it up with the holes in the bottom. Now's a good time to go ahead and clean up our wires with this last zip tie. Looking good. Now if I hold this and flip over the unit, I should be able to line up the holes for some screws. That wasn't so bad. Now I can do the rest. Now our power supply is installed. Everything's connected. We should be able to just go ahead now and plug this thing in and give it a test. Plugging in. And powering on in 3, 2, 1. And we have a power light, and it's coming on. Now let's get rid of these fingerprints. I don't want to leave any evidence behind. Now let me show you something really cool. You can take this micro USB cable, plug it into the front of the unit, and then plug this into your PC. Once you've got your USB cable plugged into your computer, go to circuitfix.net/downloads and look for the Fast Reader app. Download it for your operating system and then install it following the instructions on the screen. Once that's done, you can run the app and it will automatically connect to the power supply, giving you control over it. So now you can see we have the voltage, amperage, and watt readings here. We can go under custom settings. And we can even add more options. You can change the colors, positioning, all that stuff. And you can also control the power supply. We'll turn it on now. We've got it set to 30 volts. Say that's a little too high for us. We can bring it down to 12 on the app. Full control. And also, I've got it implemented to where you can sort of use the front panel as well. So that worked that time. It's not completely perfect because the firmware on this unit blocks commands from the front panel, but I've got a workaround and it works most of the time. All in all, this is not a bad setup. I hope you enjoyed watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave some comments, and I'll see you next time. Circuit fixed.